you know what I mean? Like, hey, I might not, like, be able to feel the left side of my body ever again. Like, you get focused on what's getting you through next week, what's getting you through tomorrow. Like, oh, tomorrow I'll be all right. Tomorrow I'll be all right. And then someone finally tell you, you're not going to be all right tomorrow. In fact, your career is over. Like, when you finally dissolve that, that's tears, man. That's baby tears. That's the stomach cramps tears, where it's like the shit you feeling inside is like somebody just ripped the soul out of your body kind of tears, man. Like, and nobody could prepare me for that. My wife was through there with me. She stayed through the darkest hours of me just feeling like you know a shell of myself, if that makes sense. Like, I felt like a shell, like where the substance of me just up and crawled out and flew away somewhere, and the little shell that was left, like, that's who I felt like. And I'm not even bullshitting you. Like, physically, emotionally, mentally, I used to be an in shape guy. Like, I'm a fit guy still. Like, I try to do what I can, but like, your boy was 220 pounds, 215 pounds, just born home American muscle, bro. Like, I probably had about 6% body fat. Like, my life was fitness. And then now, flash forward, I'm like 120 pounds after surgery, just laying there, feeling like the whole world just like got ripped out of my body. Like, you know what I mean? Like, life just was just sapped out. It's like the aliens came and just sucked the whole fucking city out, and you just left with the shell of buildings. Like, that's what it felt like. And my wife was there through it all, man. Like, she helped me process everything. But like, what about the people that don't have that? That's where I'm like, my passion is like, my heart goes out to, because if I didn't have the support I had, I wouldn't be, this chair would be empty. You know what I'm saying? Y'all would be watching a damn computer monitor talking to a couch with nothing in between. Because that kind of shit, without support to deal with that, the suicide rate in the military, and it's probably the same for other, but like, the veteran suicide rate, like, all this shit is statistically out there right now, alarming trends. And I get it now, because if I didn't have the support I had, this chair would be empty, is my point. And it's not coming from people who's, like the VA and all that. Like, I hate dogging on it, because some of that is people working as hard as they can with the like restrictions of the government. But like, this shit is fucking a mess. It's a mess. Like, I've been 3 years in this process of getting it out. I can't tell my wife like where to start her career. She got to put that on hold, I can't figure out what to do with my kids. So it's like, like, they probably end up staying with their mom or whatever. But it's like, I can't figure out my life because the military said you can't serve anymore. But I can't also go my own way because they're like, we need to process you, And 3 years later, here I fucking am sitting in DC, somewhere I don't want to be right now, while the military process whatever bullshit ass paperwork and listen to the problems or whatever else was going on. It's like, if I didn't have support going through this chair would be empty, bro. And the sad truth of it is, the chair is empty for a lot of families. Like the military has been grinding sons and daughters into a meat grinder, a machine that just runs on human beings. That's what it is. America, the freedom that you experience has a cost, and it's the sons and daughters of hardworking Americans. And it just because we're not actively at a war, like with someone you can see, doesn't mean we're not at war every day. The people wake up every day at the 4 o'clock in the morning before the sun comes up, go work out, fitness, you know what I mean? Like all this shit, regiments, come back, shave your face. We doing all this before most people woke up for breakfast. 24 hours a fucking day. And when the shit pops off, we going out there without resources, support, food. You know what I mean? Like I've eaten sometimes like things that just blow my mind that I thought I would never eat. I'm in the middle of the fucking desert eating out of a goat's head. You know what I mean? Like with my hands, sitting with these other folks they had us with out there. It was like I'm eating that shit. I'm breathing in fumes from people burning trash and all kind of shit in my nose. You know what I mean? Like I'm going through this shit for a country that I believe in still. And I get home, I'm injured, I'm hurt, whatever, I get it. I grieved that loss. I told you that. I grieved the loss of my career already. That's done. But now you're telling me sit here for 3 years and do some song and dance with you still? You know what I mean? Like you done sucked up everything you can out of my life. Like the good working years of men and women get sucked dry out of their life, and then they can't figure out how to process you to get out. They can't figure out how to connect you with benefits. You know, like I'm done. They told me I was done, and here I am for 3 years. Can't tell my family now how to live the way you would be able to tell your family what to do if you were in charge of your destiny, you know? So you done cut me off from the career part, but you just leaving me here stranded with no clue what I'm supposed to be doing for 3 years? Get the fuck out of here. And that's the best we can do, America? You know, like the shitty part about this is, and I'm gonna air this out too, is when I first complained that something hurt, it wasn't me saying I had a headache, because, you know, I done pushed through broken bones. I pushed through sleep depravity. I pushed through every sort of manifestation of discomfort you can imagine. So when I say something hurt, something fucking hurts, you know? And it had to get so bad that I physically could not drive, which is the one thing I love to do. It had to get that bad. I already quit working out. I already quit anything stressing my body. I already quit all this bullshit that would have made that, like, you know, worse. I quit that already. And I'm still hurting. You know what I mean? Like, something is fucking wrong. And it took them 1.5 years just to do a scan, only to find out I had discs, compressed discs in there that needed surgery. You know what I mean? 1.5 years. And that's the best we can do? You know, when we talking about veteran suicide and shit, wondering about like it's a mystery, like somebody in pain for 1.5 years before you even get a scan done, and then you get out to surgery and lose feeling on the side of your body. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, if I had to do that shit without support, this chair would be fucking empty right now. And I can say that with authority. I can promise you, because my wife is the only reason I'm still here today. I mean, that, you know, I don't want to take that away, you know, as though God didn't play a role, because ultimately God positioned everything in my life for it to make sense right now. And my wife made sense. He gave me the best gift in that woman, and he knew what he was doing, because I sure didn't know how badly I would need that person to get me through. And if you don't have that, if you don't have that in your life, you know, my heart is broken for you. My heart is broken for you, because I wouldn't have made it. You know, I wouldn't have made it without people who cared about me. And some of you guys is going through this shit alone. You know, You're going through this alone. And that's where, shit, even if my purpose in life at this point is to sit in this chair and just be the voice of reason for somebody else, then there we go. I found a new job, work of my hands. I'll sit and I'll talk to people who doesn't have nobody, because my wife got me through, you know. And it wasn't the sad part is like the government will scratch their head about this situation. Lawmakers will sit there and make policy and deliberate like it's a lunch meeting and shit, and veterans be dying. You know, they'll be stepping over a dead veteran's body with a sign hanging off it. You know, homeless veteran needs some food or whatever. Like, you're gonna step over the body of this individual to go to your Washington law fucking office where you sit there and play cards. I don't know what you'd really do to walk by veterans, 40,000 homeless veterans, and call yourself like trying to come up with a solution. You know, like these people out here that get traded their whatever it is they would want to do in life. They traded that for you, and you walk by those people and, you know, put politics in front of that. You know what I mean? Like, that's sickening. It is. And I worry right now that all of our resources are going places with no returns. You know how I know that? You know how I know there's no returns where our money's going right now? Because if it ain't going to these veterans, and it ain't going to American families that needs assistance, and if it's not going to like our next generation and propelling them with what they need, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's not going into that, it's going into black holes. You know, black holes where money just goes to die, because that's a better way to spend money. Says who? You know, how does Vietnam work for you? You know, so many people lost their damn life. So much money was spent, and at the end of the day, you didn't get really, what did you get for that? How about Afghanistan, America? What'd you get for that dollar? What about Iraq? What'd you get for that dollar? You know, like, how much tax dollars can you shove down a country's throat somewhere and think you're going to get a return on an investment? Like, how many times can you repeat that experiment off the backs of working men, women, off the backs of military veterans or whoever else? How many times can you do that same shit over and over and think it's going to turn out different? You know, there's people in the chat right here. Perfect example, Mopar. You know, like, brother got medical discharge from the military, from the army, and he can't get disability for his foot. But we got 40 billion fucking dollars to spend on another country that looks a lot and smells a lot like Vietnam. It looks a lot and smells a lot like Iraq, because how much money did we spend? You know, what happened the moment we left Afghanistan? Like, within 5 seconds of us leaving? You know, we'll spend money there. We'll fund another country's war. We'll do this dumb shit that you want to do, while the fucking guy getting out of the army can't get disability for his foot. You know what I'm saying? Like, who wants to serve in that fucking army? Sign me up. You know what I'm saying? I want to put my tax dollars to work so that they won't work for me. And you wonder why the recruiting numbers are down? I'll tell you fucking why. Because look at the VA. You know? When people comparing retirement options and 401k plans and shit, All they got to do is look, hey, we can offer you this comprehensive health package and blah, 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 or we can offer you the VA. I'm gonna just stop. I'm gonna just pause the fucking stream. Run a commercial break, somebody, because I'm about to go the fuck off. But we got $40 billion to send overseas for a war that's going to jeopardize more American lives for the next 20-year struggle you want to do. I got nothing against Ukraine, but I had nothing against Vietnam. I had nothing against Iraq. I had nothing against Afghanistan. Because they didn't have shit to do with the four corners of the United States over here. You know what I mean? Like, I signed up to defend that. And if you ain't, like, right outside the gate right there, you know, I don't even know you exist. I'm not even paying attention to you. But we will find, as a country, we will find unlimited resources to go out of our way to involve ourselves in conflicts that end up black hole. You know? I couldn't tell you if you know, Ukraine or Russia, whatever's happening there, I can't tell you that. But history can tell you that what was going to happen will happen as soon as the money dries up. You know what I'm saying? Like, once the money dries up, it doesn't matter what you wanted to happen. It doesn't matter what you wished would happen. When the money dries up, the same shit is going to happen that was going to happen. And in the meantime, the army, my man over there in the army who can't get disability, you know, it's like, that didn't change. You know, maybe we could have taken, instead of $40 billion to this, maybe we could have taken like $39.999 billion and saved a little slice of that for the guy that can't get disability for his goddamn foot. You know, I mean, fuck off. Politicians right now, fuck off. You know, that's my God-given American freedom rights that I basically broke my body for. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. You know, you can, well, you could take my rank. You know, you already took my legs. You took my arm. My nerves are shot. You know, I can't feel shit anyway. You know, it's like, you could take something from me as a military member, saying I'm not allowed to speak on the issue, whatever else. I don't care about that, because the joke is on the politician right now. I never seen a circus like that, where you can sell tickets to that same show, and when you already know how fucked up it is, it's like, Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter. The point is, if any of you can sleep at night, that 40,000 homeless veterans in this country doesn't have a place to lay their head down, if any of you can sleep at night, I don't want to speak to you. I don't want to vote for you. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Because those are the people that I was next to who aren't here anymore, you know? I got friends of mine that's not here anymore because somehow some shit over there in another country's business is so important. You can put a little small microdose of cash on, you know, solving a crisis for veterans and for military. You know, we got military families living in base housings that has mold in it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just found out about that the other day, that my blood was boiling on the damn couch. I could have left like a red stain of just blood boiled on the couch when I heard that. Like, think about my son or daughter living on a base housing, breathing in mold, and like politicians just going to work with their hand in their pocket. Like, we'll see what we can do about it. You know, we'll vote on it. And it's always down to the money. It's always down to like the funding. But I feel like the Bible just says something like you know, where a man's treasure is, there his heart will be also. And I feel like America's treasure is not in their young men and women right now. You know, it's not in their youth and building up what's important to this nation. America's treasure somehow, for whatever reason, has always been over there in somebody else's fucking side of the planet. And it costs your daughters and your sons to go get it. And it's never enough. It's never enough. It will always be this insatiable urge to go get whatever the fuck is needed out there. I still don't know what it is. I've been on every ocean. I've sailed every ocean. I've lived at sea for years of my life and have never found that shore that America must be looking for when it comes to these politicians wanting to spend money. You know what I mean? Like, Ukraine is, it's not my personal feelings like my feelings towards Ukraine is this or that. I don't wish any ill will on you at all. But what I do wish is that American citizens would have what they need. You know, like, I wish that. You know, I wish that people who's having a hard time with employment or whatever struggles internally as a nation has, I wish that our lawmakers would focus on that sometimes. Before we try to solve everybody's problems, maybe we can fix a few, you know, of the problems that the veterans have, and not let them sleep out fucking side. You know what I'm saying? We got 40,000 homeless veterans. Like, how about we not let them sleep outside? That's a great policy. I signed that bill. It's the No Veteran Sleeps Outside bill. And here I hereby authorize the government to spend money on that. But we're over here right now, and I believe somebody correct me if I'm wrong about this, but Zelensky or somebody said something about we need this much billions for like our green energy programs or some bullshit. I don't give a fuck where you charge your Tesla at. I don't give two shits about that if my homie's sleeping in the street right here. You know, like, if a veteran who served this country is sleeping somewhere that they're not comfortable with, I'm not okay with that. And I'm getting, like, I'm seeing reports of money being spent on, like, your green energy shit, your programs over there. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but this shit is falling apart right now. Where the fuck you gonna charge your, you know what I mean? It's like, that's not for me to decide. That's not for me to determine. What's for me to determine is, you know, why are these people elected to office who would allow this to happen? That's what's left to me to determine. Because I tell you what, you know, I don't care what side of the political aisle you fall on. If you're okay with letting the veteran sleep outside, you don't have to worry about my vote. I don't care who you are. I don't care what policy you practice. If that's something you're fine with that, you don't have to worry about my vote. It won't be coming your way. Trust me. You know, and a lot of people right now is giving flack to somebody like Tulsi Gabbard, who served the country. You know, and everybody's politically, you're entitled to say whatever you want to say, have your political beliefs or whatever else. But here's a person who served the country and actually leaving her party behind because she disagreed with it. She disagreeing with the way shit is working. Like, you just like, I can't agree with this. And that's me saying right now, like, I can't agree with, like, lawmakers and decision makers who think it's okay to let veterans sleep outside. With these large sums of money that we swing around, it's like America got like a 10-foot pole trying to swat a mosquito with it. You know what I mean? Like you got a 10-foot big ass pole and you're trying to hit bugs, talking about, you know, we're solving problems. just spending money, just forcing people, handcuff me behind my back and throw $40 billion in my pocket, you know, but let this fucking guy sleep outside. What the fuck? And I'm sorry, because I was having a real good Christian conversation before this, and I don't know if I let the emotions get the best of me, because I'm thinking of like specific people. I'm thinking of names of people that I miss. You know, people who lost that battle that we're sitting here talking about on the stream right now. Like, having support, having a system. For me, my wife 100% is the reason why I'm still here. I'll love her to death for what she put up with on my behalf. But so many people don't have that support. So many people, whether it was like, you know, I mean, Patrick, I'm not trying to put you out there, but it's like, you already somebody that lost your career. You know, you lost your career, and the person you're depending on, it's like their life is in jeopardy as well. So how desperate that feels, and you seeing the kind of money that we're spending on shit right now as a nation, it gotta make you feel some kind of way. Like, how many more people might there be who couldn't pay a mortgage or couldn't pay a bill, or whose power might get shut off right here at home, and we over here about how can we get green energy solutions across the planet? Like, motherfucker, we got the lights going off tonight, right here in America, in this living room. You know what I mean? Like, people feeling that, like, desperation, and not seeing the political leaders around them responding to that. You know? Like in the military, if you were going on an operation and something stopped, you know, something doesn't smell right, like this looks like it's doomed to fail, this operation that we're going on, I'm going to bring that up to my commander, and my commander is going to say whatever he needs to say to put the brakes on that shit, you know? But I don't know of a commander who would say, hey, I hear your concern. Matter of fact, I see where we're headed, and I know, you know, that's doomed to fail, but we're just going to hold course here and continue this failure process. Like, what kind of commander does that? You know, like that, you know what I'm saying? We need to have the best warships. We need to have the best trained staff personnel. We need to have the best, you know, military arrangement possible. I get that part. But what I don't get is how, you know, we don't need to maintain those things in a way that ensures their survival. You know? Like, that's the disconnect. It's like, we want to spend all this foreign money everywhere, while people on our own goddamn carrier doesn't have clean drinking water. Like, I slept on a carrier more nights enough to know, like, your safety, your sanctity, where you're finished a shift of work, is the small 6 by 6 foot, like, what is it? It's a casket. You know what I mean? Like, the enlisted military member is confined to a space on board that ship that he can call his own, the size of a casket. You slide in a casket every night. It's small. It ain't no apartment. You know, ain't no deluxe fancy whatever the fuck. But this little coffin right here is my space. And when you can maintain that, you can get through a lot of mental anguish and physical anguish when you're like, hey, I got my space, I got something to eat, I can drink water. But when you can't drink clean water, like, they got hide fluid that came into the water supply at one point. I was devil dragging for like 2 days, bro. Yeah. You not bothering us at all, Mopar. You ain't bothering me one bit. This sidebar, whatever I'm on now, it's too late to stop where I'm going now. You know, I've already the axe has been swung. You know, we here. So whether or not that was you inducing that, or whether or not I was crash course heading this way all along, it ain't got nothing to do with. I appreciate you and I respect you and I would love to have you around. That's separate. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm going now, my brain is just it's touching a nerve right now, because even I'm sitting here playing this video game and I can't even see straight. I can't even concentrate on what I'm trying to do because of how frustrating this feels. But like, why would we spend all this money everywhere on everything for everybody else but us? Why? You know? You know, like, this shit is blowing my mind. But yeah, I mean, like, we got warships that needs maintained. We got like troops that need trained up. We got resources they need. Their families needs to live in a base housing that doesn't have mold in it, for God's sakes. You know, like, those are the few things that they might ask you for. But we still finding ways to spend money somewhere else. Like the shit grows on trees. You know where it grows from? Tax-paying Americans. You just keep on pulling those weeds, you know, just rake in whatever dollars you can rake off them, so that we can spend this willy-nilly ass money everywhere. And at the end of the day, our American citizens don't have what they need. Like, what the fuck? What are you doing? Is what I gotta say. And that invitation is extended to Republicans and Democrats alike. If something about where we're at is okay with y'all, I'm fucking livid with both sides. You know, because here's what's crazy is you get paid to sit in a room and argue about shit, regardless of whether you pass a bill, regardless of whether or not. It's not performance based. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Americans are used to like a performance pace schedule. You know, if you're not the top player in the league, but you can get the job done, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a contract, we can work. But if you're the guy that fucking been sleeping under the bench at the stadium, you know, you ain't played ball in like 25 years. It's like, you go give him the $40 million contract? And that's the way it feels like our government spends money. Is like wherever the fuck you want to. And it'd be like if you're gonna have a stadium built, right? And we'll call this stadium America Stadium, where, you know, all of America's welcome to come watch whatever event is being hosted. But it's like the bleachers are falling apart. You can't find nowhere to sit. It stinks. You know what I mean? Like, you can't breathe when you're sitting in it. It's like, okay, we're going to take that reinvestment into this America project. We're going to pause that. And we're going to spend the money somewhere over here, somewhere in another country, like elsewhere. Fix that problem first. Who the fuck do you think is coming to your game next week? If that's the experience they had. As an Americans, it's like we're used to that pay transaction type thing. You feel me? But as a politician is, how many bills you pass, how much legislation you wrote, how much whatever the fuck you did doesn't change your pay. So, in all honesty, y'all could get in a room and do jumping jacks for like 12 hours straight, and I wouldn't know the difference. Is if y'all was scratching your head about, oh, you know what, I agree to disagree, Senator. You know, y'all still getting paid 6-figure salaries for this shit. And you gonna let a fucking veteran sleep in the street anywhere in this country? Get the fuck out of here. Like, I'm telling you, this guy better want to do like every kind of drug. He's like, don't touch me. I want to sleep outside. I'm done. Like, this is where I want to be. And I'm okay. All right. Cool. My man has reached the end of his rope. Like, he wants to sleep outside. Leave him alone. But if you're talking about somebody that's like, hey, I wish I had somewhere to lay down tonight where the power was on still. Like I wish that when I went to sleep tonight, it wasn't so cold that like I won't feel my fingers when I wake up. Like if there's any veterans like that who served this country and you laying there like that, and the six-figure salary makers can't come up with a plan to help you, but your last working dollar as an American, like your last money you earned with your hands was taxed to go into a system that will allow you to sleep on the fucking outside. And you ask like, well, the veteran suicide numbers might be trending to the upward side. It's like, well, fuck yeah. Like all this shit you ever went through. Can you imagine being halfway through your military career and someone's like, hey, you're gonna sleep on the street, bro. You think he was bullshit, and you're like, nah, what the fuck you talking about, bro? Like, what do you mean? He was like, no, I looked into a globe and saw your future was to sleep outside with the newspaper covering yourself. You know what I'm saying? High on whatever you could find. No treatment resources, no programs to get you the support you need. Your family already moved out. Your wife left you. Kids don't want nothing to do with you. Like, your life is fucked. And you're gonna sleep on the street for like 20 years and die. And no one's even gonna know where you died at. No one's gonna come to your funeral. Like, no one's even gonna know where you ended up. But the last taxable dollar from your working life went into six-figure salaries for people who couldn't come up with a solution on solving that problem for you. How the fuck? Because I tell you right now, if this was a performance-based salary, you know how much fucking laws would be written? You know how much bills would get signed? And you would see Democrat and Republicans shaking hand like it would look like a machine gun went off how fast they shaking hands on some policies and shit. If this was like the same level of compensation, like goods for services type thing, like what if politicians didn't get paid based on a salary? What if they got paid based on a performance outcome? They'd still be at work right fucking now. What time is it? 2:30 a.m.? Hey, it ain't quitting time yet, bro. We got to make this dollar. Like, that's where you would see politicians actually break a sweat coming up with ideas of how to help your ass. Because now they're not getting paid unless the performance, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't see how you can make that much and call it public service. You feel me? Like, I would do public service if they paid me a six-figure salary to do nothing. I haven't made no bill. I haven't signed no law. I haven't looked at no policy and collect a six-figure salary. Yeah, I fucking like that. Because here's what happens is America's the only country where we will pay men and women to argue with each other, and they don't have to produce a result to get money from us. We got conned, bro. We got conned because Democrat Republican issues aside, is if we came up with a society model where you call that public service, where your compensation is 3 times the salary of a military man who might have spent his fucking life grinding for your ass to be, have a country to be, like, he might make a third of what you make, but like your job is to go argue with other people about shit, and you don't have to make results happen. You know what happened in my career? If I didn't make results happen, I wouldn't have got promoted. You know what I mean? Like, and I went over this too the last time, being on fucking Wick and government assistance while I'm working for the government. You know, like that's how bad this shit was. Is like I gotta pay for my groceries with coupons from the government because the government's not paying me enough to be in the government. What the fuck? You know, like, yeah, I was a third class. I'm not ashamed. I was a third class on WIC. We were on welfare, basically. You know? On a military salary was basically put us at the welfare line of like, we need help with milk and cheese. You know what I mean? Like, I was there. But you know what? If I didn't produce some fucking results, I didn't get promoted. And there's no way I would got promoted from E1 to E6 in a 7-year span if I wasn't figuring some shit out. You know, 7 years, promote 6 times. Because if I could sit in a room and not make anything happen, if I could sit in a room and just argue with somebody and make 6 figures, like, I didn't have to go get results. I didn't have to work. I didn't have to rack my brain too hard to think, hey, this is a job arrangement that's working out for me. You know what I mean? Like, how the fuck? So I don't care if politicians make the money they make, but don't call it public office. Don't call it public service, because service means you're obtaining goods. And I'm not obtaining any goods from these politicians right now. I'm not obtaining any goods from it. So for you to call it service would be like, hey, you know what, this congressional duty, no one wants to read through a 5,000 page volume of all these law bills we got to pass, but I volunteer to take up that arrangement for you, and we're going to be serving the public. That's serving. Like, when you think of thank you for your service, you know, I'm not thinking of a politician who made 6 figures. I'm not. You know, like, your job is to solve crisis at a level that makes my brain explode, because I got paid like $30K to figure out how to arm F-18s and you know, shoot down what you just like. I get paid $30K for that. So you getting paid 6 figures must mean your ability to determine what the fuck needs to happen is on another echelon. But somehow you let a fucking veteran sleep on the street? God damn. You know? Like, your brain power is so pushed to the max that you warranting this level of salary here in your public service. You know what I mean? Like, you are in this position to make change at a high level, and you will let somebody sleeping on the fucking street. You know, like, I'm lost right now. I really, but before I saw the statistics, I really thought, like, this last college year has pushed this out of me, because the research I had to do for these projects, when I was looking at veteran suicide, and veteran suicide was like, hey, I want to figure out how to be positive influence for that. I want to figure out how to end veteran suicide. That was like my college goal, like working on those type of assignments, trying to come up with those ideas. And the moment I saw the veteran numbers of homelessness, immediately, like, the fire got lit under. It was like the feeling, like the flames and ember feelings that I had, because I feel like betrayed, man. Like, how could I let this, how could I stand up for this Constitution on this? Like, I will put my life on this. It will be my children on this. I'll miss the birth of all of my children for this. You know? I miss all of the Christmases with my family for this shit. And I didn't tell a lot of people, like, when we were talking earlier, I didn't get to see my son born. I didn't get to be home for that. When I met my son, he was 4 months old already. You know what that's like? To have in your mind, like, I'm going to be a dad. And then you find out, oh, I'm going to be gone. And then you come home to like a 4-month-old kid and it's like, wait, you like part of my body? Like, what the fuck is this? Like I loved him to death and I didn't even know why. I had to connect with I had to relearn like who my son was. My son didn't even recognize me because he didn't know me. Like I did that because I believe in this country. But you have people within this country who would let someone sleep outside. Like I will walk over your body to get to my government office where I'm supposed to law make and decision make for you. I will step over your cold, wet body in the morning and go publicly serve. Like I think the ratio is a little off. If I'm missing my children being born, and it wasn't just my son, I missed my daughter born. It was enough to give my firstborn son to the shit, but I missed my daughter being born. And like I told you, like when I was home for one of my children to be born, that was the one that died. Like how shitty that felt? Like to be excited about being a dad, like I missed it the first time. Like I missed being with my son for like 4 months. And I was excited to be a dad. And I was home for it this time. And my son didn't make it. Like that shit hurt, man. And it's like I'll put this country on my back for whatever I believe in. Like I will give it to you because I already gave it to you. But you gonna let another veteran sleep on the street because you can't sign a bill? Get the fuck out of here. Like it just made my brain explode because somehow I'll give my left nut for the country and be gone from my family for shit and miss Christmas, birthdays, everything, and miss my daughter being born the next time when I was supposed to be home. I'm not going to have any more kids. Like that ship has sailed. Like that experience is whatever it was made to be is been had. It's like I could do that for the country. Like I could believe in that and then turn around one day because my wife left or because I lost connection with my friends or I lost a basis for workful, gainful employment, that I would go from that to sleeping on the street right afterwards, while the same people would sit in office and argue about it. I'm sick to my stomach, man. I'm sick to my stomach because we are owed better than that. You got men and women in this country that said, like, listen, I don't care your political background. I don't care you want to identify whatever the fuck you want to identify. Like, I will die for this country because I love it. You got men and women like that doing that job every day. And you think that they could find themselves one day waking up on a sidewalk somewhere. What the fuck is going on with that? I knew people that rode the fucking career till the wheels fell off, man. I'm talking about a crusty ass senior chief, where you had to pry the Navy out of his gold fucking hands because He would not let go. Loved for this country, gave his life, do whatever you want to call it. You know what I mean? Like, patriots out there. And the message, being sent is like, that's okay and all, but we got money to spend in these other countries somewhere else before you get, your VA hospital treatments, before you get released from the military to go actually start your own life over again. It's like all this bullshit of stuff that's going on is the reason why veteran suicide is up. The stress, it's the reinventing of the wheel. Like, every 4 years I gave up my best friendships in life. Like, every time I leave a place, I would be like, damn, those were some badass dudes. I love them to death. That hurt. I'm not going to find that again. And I tell you what, by the time I left the next duty station, I had those friendships again. You know what I mean? Like, loved people and have them ripped out of your life every 4 years. When I got hurt, I was talking to my wife. Like, when I got hurt was the first time I ever stayed in one spot for 3 years. And I started being like, damn, come to think of it, it's like, not only have I been in the United States, but I've been in the same state for 3 years? What the fuck? Like, I was lost. I was like, this never happened before. Because I literally moved everywhere, and for any coast to coast move. Let me tell you how stupid this shit was before I lose my mind again. So, I'm an aviation electrician, right? You don't have to be, a doctor or anything, but getting the F-18 off the fucking ground takes a little bit of rocket science. For some reason, they put assholes like me in the way of that electrically. I couldn't tell you why, but, I got them flying. I did pretty good. Solve the problems, whatever you want to call it. It's like, we could be good at our job for a lot less than you, politicians. You know what I mean? Like, we can get aircraft up. We can get missions done. We can move across the fucking country. And here's the shitty part, so I'm an electrician. I'm on deployment right now. Work my ass off. Studying at night so I can promote. I make advancement to 3rd class petty officer. Oh my God, I made it. I'm 3rd class petty officer. So my whole deployment, like, I'm grinding. Because they gave me new responsibilities. They put me in charge of shit. Now I got people calling me, hey, petty officer, what time can it? It's like, oh, damn, is that me? Oh, I'm a petty officer now. Okay. Feeling it. But working my ass off, too. In the line shack. Chaining jets down. Out in the elements. Cleaning the cockpits. Doing all this shit for pilots so they can get up out of the, out of the bed and go fly. Like, basically, it's like, here's your jet, it's fueled, it's ready to go, sir. We've wiped the fucking window for you. Everything is set up for you. So, doing that, and then they come at me and say, hey, there's been an issue with your security clearance. So, that promotion that we gave you? Like, we're gonna need that back. And come to find out, it was a paperwork issue that affected like thousands of people like me, where they advanced and their advancements could not be like documented properly because of the security issue. So those promotions were redacted from those people. So I went from a position of authority with responsibility, you know what I mean, to like, hey, you're right back there with the airman guy that's hanging out back there, like demoted by a clerical error, okay? And this clerical error made me not able to re-enlist. So not only did I lose a promotion, now I can't re-enlist. And at the time, I got a newborn that I haven't seen yet, and a wife that's waiting for a paycheck somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't the time for me to not be able to re-enlist because of a clerical error and lose a promotion that we've been budgeting for and that we have been like needing desperately because we're on WIC right now and we can't afford fucking groceries. So my promotion is taken away for working my ass off, and a clerical error, you know. And that's when they decide to tell me, hey, by the way, you know the house you just bought last year? You're going to have to pack up and move out of it, because if these orders don't work out for you, the only thing we got is in California. And this is in Virginia, mind you, where I live. Like, I bought my first house at 23, something like that. Young. And it was a goal. It was something I wanted to put my chin into. Like, I want to have a place to live where I can raise my son who I'm not going to see. You know what I mean? I want to have a place where my wife can feel like she can lay down at, because I ain't going to be laying down there. You know what I mean? Like, that's the American dream. I want to give somebody the American dream, because my ass is still going to be on this ship right now. Working for peanuts doesn't even cut the fucking bill. You know? Basically, just being shit on. And now you gotta move cross country. So my wife at the time had to pack up the entire fucking house on her own with a baby and leave the house that we like bought. You know what I mean? Move out of it. So imagine a woman who was excited to show like her friends pictures and all, like, oh, this is my house, you know, my husband out here fucking working these deployments, got promoted. Well, guess what? No, you didn't get promoted because of a clerical paperwork bullshit. And also move out of your fucking house like tomorrow and go to California. You know what I mean? Like, veteran suicide doesn't seem like it's hard to come up with a reason why someone might feel pressure. You know, I can't even make it home from deployment and I'm already about to get a divorce at this point. You know what I mean? It's like, hey baby, pack up the shit. No, I'm not going to be home before the movers get there. No, pack this shit up, get the baby, and get the fuck out. We going to California. You know what I mean? Like, and your wife is supposed to be like, okay, I'll quit my job tomorrow. And who's going to send us these like welfare checks? You know, where are we going to get the government cheese from if we move, like, I don't know which grocery store we're going to be able to afford in California. You know what I mean? Like, fuck off. Just trying to get there, man. You know, trying to get a slice of the American dream. Trying to get this fucking foundations built for your family for some generational wealth. And these 5-generation deep fucking politicians will let shit like that happen in a service member's lifetime and ask why the suicide rate is up in the same breath. And I don't want to put anybody's like bad taste in your mouth for politics. Whoever you support is up to you. I don't give a shit. But when I'm hearing somebody just like bought like 5 hotels, you know what I mean? Like a government official is like buys like Marriott's, for example. And I had to live like that in service to this country. How does you serving the country means that you can buy your 5th Marriott hotel branch, and I was doing good to hold on to my house and hold on to like civilian life for my family at the time, You know what I mean? Like, I was doing good to hold on to that. But we're both serving public somehow. You know, I wish I was on the end of buying my fifth hotel and trying to figure out which hotel do I want to fucking pass on to my grandson. You know what I mean? Like, I'm over there moving across country to the other side whilst being on deployment. And the reason I bring that up is there's people who will do that shit for this country. That's not even the problem. There's people that will do that shit for you because they are doing it right now. There are people on carriers right now. There is people over in DJ right now eating shitty food probably and just being grateful there was Wi-Fi out there so they could FaceTime their families. You know what I mean? Like, there's people that will do that for you, but you're gonna let them sleep on the fucking ground. Makes me sick, man. You know, like, it hurts. It really hurts. Like, I didn't want to get on a fucking stream and get like emotional, but I know people that's not here right now. And if you're in Washington and you can go to these fucking meetings and argue about where to spend money, and you skip veterans and you skip military families and you skip resources like for that, I don't know what's the greater irony here. It's like that you have people that will go to the moon and back, or that you have people right here that would let them go to the moon and back and then let them sleep out fucking side when they get, you know what I mean? Like, bro, what the fuck? Like, I didn't mean to get like lose my shit like this, guys. I'm sorry, cause like it's just like the white hot tears, like the rage kind of tears where like you can't see out of your eyeballs because, you know, like, people went through things for this service of this country and this beautiful country. Like, I will swear to you up and down, there is nowhere else in the planet that I would rather be than right here in America. I promise you that. You got people like liberals and like these fucking movie stars and shit be like, well, if you don't elect the person I like, I'm fucking leaving. And it's like, okay, I'll see you here when you get back. Cause trust me, you'll come back. Nobody stays gone from fucking America. For we got people jumping over the goddamn fence right now to get in America. You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why they're trying to come here. Cause there's some shit going on here that's pretty good, I would say. And you take it from somebody that's been all over the planet. I've been to Africa, Tanzania, fucking places like Somalia, Yemen, fucking all over the desert, everywhere. Out in the middle of the ocean I've been. I've been to places in the ocean that's so fucking dark when the lights go out that you can see galaxies that you never even knew existed out there. You could see stars you can only dream of because it's never been that dark. Like, that's how far in the fucking ocean I've been. Like, way out there where you can see the faintest light pollution possible. Like we've been to some remote areas and I could search high and low and I have not found one place I would rather live than right here in the USA. And that's facts. From somebody who's been there. Not like, you know, somebody on Instagram who posted some shit because they don't like it here. You know what I mean? I've been to the fucking places. I'm telling you, like Hong Kong, been there. Korea, been there. You know what I mean? Like, pick somewhere weird as fuck. Chances are I've been there. You know? Been to South America, been to all over Europe, been to, I mean, you can spin a map and put your finger down and you can't find somewhere on the map that I probably haven't at least like swam by. You know what I mean? Like, I've been around And America is the greatest fucking place on the planet. When it comes to raising a family and not wondering if the environment around you is going to implode, like not worrying that the terrorist faction isn't going to like rape your wife and rip your children out of bed. It's like that shit happens in other countries right now. Like that is what is happening right now. Food insecurity, riots, shit's burning. Like people in this country, sometimes younger people, they get onto like a political issue or whatever, they get fired up like, oh, we fucking leave, we don't like Trump or whatever it is, we'll fucking leave. Okay, I'll see you when you get back. Take it from me, like the shit out there, people, there's a reason why people want to risk their lives to bring their family here. Like we seeing stuff on the news right now that people's is leaving out of, you know, horrible conditions, saying I might not survive the journey, I might not make it, but at least if I can die right there next to it is better than where I'm living right now. Do you know what you have here in America is a treasure amongst the world, highly coveted, and will always have threats. This is a beautiful fucking place. America is amazing. There's opportunity, jobs, there is things you can do here in America that's on limited supply elsewhere. And I'll say till the day is long, like that, I will defend that country, I'll do whatever. But I could not ask somebody to pay a tab for me if, you know, I was gonna let him sleep on a fucking bench. And that's my point. That's coming full circle back. Is like all the things I appreciate about this country, all the things I love about being here. If I was a politician going to work every day, I could not drive past somebody. You know, like I could not ignore if somebody told me one story, like, hey, we got this base out here in Wichita where there's mold on the walls and, like, you know, people can't breathe in there. It's like we need fresh military housing, we need whatever. It's like if I caught wind of that, you've got my 100% focus. Like that's the way I feel. It's like, you know, like the people that's ready to secure what this nation means and what the ability to be an American means, there's people that will go secure that for you. They'll go pay that bill. But you better not ask them to sleep on the bench, man. That should be the policy you sign. Democratic, Republican, it doesn't matter who, what side. Trump supporter, election deniers, or whatever the fucking middle ground categories. But it's like, you ask somebody to pay that tab, don't let them sleep on the bench. Can we sign that into law? You know, can we get a round of applause? Like, fucking sign that law. If you're paying the tab, don't sleep on the bench. You know, it was hard to make it, but I made it with support. So some of my friends out there who's like happened to be young and single, because getting married wasn't something that a 25-year-old kid was trying to do when he was overseas on deployment. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these guys were single. They were just out there just kind of like see the world, whatever. And they didn't have the kind of support network I have now. Like the family or resources, whatever else. Like these were solo riders who've been out there so long doing these deployment life cycle things that slowing down and having a family and building networks wasn't possible. So they don't have the support structure that I had. And just with the support structure, the amount of stress, you know, that my wife has, that I put her under right now, the way she sees me like hobbling around and like getting frustrated and things, you know, like she's dealt with so much and has not complained, you know, like just a beautiful woman. I'm thankful to God for her. But there's people that don't have that in the military or even out of the military. It's like there's people without that kind of support, man. So if you're a lawmakers and decision makers, like you gotta retrain yourself how to feel at the like ground level, you know? Like if someone drives you to work, like you wake up because you setting your alarm, blah blah blah, and you walk outside and someone opens the door to your vehicle and you driven somewhere to work, you need to remember what it was like when you were running late and you were going out and your car won't start, and you got a fucking drill sergeant, or you got a chief, or you got a platoon commander, I don't know, whatever the fuck other military branches got. You got somebody that's expecting you to be somewhere on time, and you can't get there on time, because your piece of shit vehicle or whatever it is doesn't work on your salary. You need to like step back into that role and then start making decisions. Like you need to connect with that part first. I feel like some of these people forgot what it was like, if they ever knew. Because like I said, you got 5th and 6th generation politician families that are basically forming a dynasty here where their children didn't have to know what it was like. Like you shouldn't necessarily have a corner on a government offices like a crime family would have in like 1920s New York. You know what I mean? Like it shouldn't be like the so-and-so family owns this portion of the government because they've been 5 times elected into office, and it's like, generational wealth and all sort of shit built on top of American working people. When you connect with us down here and start realizing what some of the surface level issues are right here, right now, and it's not Ukraine, it's not energy, green energy and shit. What I'm worried about right now at my eye level is how to pay my bills, how to support my family, how to keep the internet bill on for my kids, because God knows if the internet bill got cut off. You know what I mean? Like, I'm worried about shit like that, and you're over here talking about by 2025 or 2030, whatever, you guys need to have electric vehicles. You know what I mean? Like, that's politicians' brains at work. By 2035, you guys need to have electric vehicles. This shit is happening in California. So, tell me how the person who can't afford to do shit right now is gonna go drop a down payment on a $90,000 brand new vehicle. Like, I feel like if you were born into politics and you grew up in politics and your only exposure to the working man was like you had to step over him on your way into the office, then you forgot that paying my fucking bill is important. Because if I don't pay my bill, shit gets cut off. And I've found that to be true many times in my life. If I don't pay my bills, shit gets cut off. So I'd like to not have that happen. And meanwhile, you're over here coming up with policies that requires me to spend more money on electric vehicles that I can't even afford the gas vehicle I got. Keep in mind, I'm just an ordinary citizen here where I don't have $90,000 in my back pocket. Elon Musk, God support him, God love him. You built a great thing here, but I can't afford it. So where does that leave me in 2035? I'll tell you where. It leaves you is probably public transit. That's also going to be charging itself by then. God knows that's going to be reliable. Government funded public transit that charges itself. Oh shit, if that can get me to work on time, thank God. Like, I don't have to buy an electric car. But no, that shit won't work. So you go buy an electric car that you can't afford by 2035. You know what's going to happen? Used vehicle prices in California are going to triple. I don't have to be. I didn't need a degree to figure that out. That's just economics. It's, hey, if we can't buy a brand new electric vehicle, the next best thing being a used vehicle now has value that it didn't have yesterday. You know, because now, you know, no new vehicles, whatever. So now I gotta buy one. Where am I gonna get that? It's a pre-owned vehicle. I think we arrive at the conclusion. That's the only place you can find a gasoline-powered vehicle at this point. So what's gonna happen is that's gonna get ate up. We're talking about California here, okay? If there's a hoopty on sale, you know, they're gonna buy it because that sure beats waiting for the self-charged government transit vehicle to get here. So they're gonna buy that. But that's gonna be supply and demand. Economics means that used vehicle prices in and around California will be so high that people will start bringing used vehicles from other states over there and selling them. I mean, that's just simple math, bro. You're gonna create this cataclysmic vehicle market structure.